Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? I can see some pink underhands in the chat already. We've got April and Ulrika and Ms. Saurus. Hi, Angela. How are you? Good morning to you too. And we've got Black Rose, who I know is not staying. She's got peopling to do today. And oh, we've got Jan as well. Morning, Jan. How are you? Nice to see you all. I didn't know how many people we would have in this morning. Just because I've moved the time and things. I have to say it feels a bit odd starting at this time because obviously usually we're like super early. But I needed time to sort of gather myself together this morning. So yeah, it's all good. I've got quite exciting things to do today. So I hope that some of you are going to hang around, and I hope that maybe we have a few others that might join us a wee bit later. I don't know if I'm going to go the full 2 hours. Yes, we are at 12,000 subscribers. We're over 12,000 subscribers now. We made it. I just have to wait and see how I go this morning. So I think most of you that are in here, maybe bar 1 or 2, are in the Discord, but I have had kidney stones and a kidney infection. So it's been pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie. I am feeling a little bit better. I was absolutely ghastly though, so saying I'm a little bit better is it's not much of an improvement, honestly. But one of the things is like across my back where your kidneys are is really, really sore. So if I sit in the same position for too long, it gives me a sore back. So we'll see how we go. We'll definitely do the first hour, and I think we'll wait and see what I'm like after the first hour. And if I'm okay, we can keep going. So that's kind of the plan. Other than that, I actually feel quite fresh. I got a decent amount of sleep last night. My sleep's been very broken anyway, but obviously with pain keeping you up, it's not always the best thing. But I got a good few hours last night, and I have to say I do feel a little bit fresher this morning. I might not look it, but I feel it. So yeah, but the pain level's gone down from like I had my episode, which is how I found out I've got kidney stones last Sunday night. And I thought I was dying. I like someone was stabbing me in the side. It was awful. My pain level was probably like an 8.5 or a 9. I couldn't straighten myself up. I was violently, violently sick. So I'm down to like a 5 or a 6, but it kind of comes in waves. So it goes from like maybe a 3 or a 4 up to a 6 and back again. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But I genuinely feel a bit fresher this morning, which is so nice because this week's not been fun. You know it's bad when like I literally want to go to sleep during the day because I am not a person that sleeps during the day. That's all I've wanted to do is just like curl up in a corner and snooze. So anyway, we've got quite exciting stuff going on. I've started kind of tidying the cave up a wee bit. Again, this last week I've not really been in here doing anything, whether it's my proper job or cave stuff, because I just haven't been well enough. But I'd basically just been opening the door and like shoving stuff and then closing the door again. So I've started to tidy up, and I mean, you can see like it does look reasonably tidy. It did not look like this yesterday morning. So I was just kind of sorting stuff out, and I'm trying to pull out all my work in progresses, because I kind of thought I didn't have a lot of stuff, like unfinished stuff on the go. I do. So what I want to do is kind of gather that stuff together for the Wednesday streams and actually do it, because I know Wednesdays I kind of like change my mind depending on how I'm feeling. But this Wednesday in particular, I want it to be me trying to finish off all the stuff I've started. And completely contrary to that, we're going to start something new this morning. Because why not? Why not? But you're going to like this one. So for this first hour, I just wanted to do some colouring, ease myself in gently, see how we go. And I think you're going to like this. Well, hopefully you're going to like this. And I have this. And the lovely Julia has sent me this over from Sweden. And it is Hannah Carlson's newest book. And this is Tales or Stories from the Castle Ruins. Slotsruinen. Yay! So really, really happy to have this, and it was so kind of her. Like, she's so thoughtful, because she actually messaged me before. She knows that I'm trying to keep the clutter down in the cave because we're kind of at capacity here, and she's like, I thought I better ask before I send you this over. Would you like it? I was like, oh yes, please, because I was going to get it eventually anyway. So this is where we're going today. So what I need to do is pick out a page to start. I have earmarked some that I like, but do you guys, there's very few of you in here. Do you want me to flick through the whole book really quickly so that you can see all the images? April, ooh. That's got Jan super excited. Castles. Yes, there's swords as well, Jan. April makes a very good point. Okay, right, we'll just have a wee quick flick through. Say there's very few of us here, so we'll take this opportunity. Oh, so fresh and so new. I think you're going to be surprised at the content of it. There are castles in it, but it's not all buildings. Thea's still waiting on hers. Oh no. So we've got a nice little front page here. This looks like a fox with a big bushy tail. I kind of like that for a front page as well. So obviously, I mean, it's Hannah's usual style. There's nothing particularly like groundbreaking. And the thing I love about Hannah's books are the variety in the images. She's always got a really nice balance of simple images right up to, you know, really sort of intricate double pages, and that's what I really like about her art style in her books. But it is kind of like the usual content. There's some pages that are cracking though. So there's, you know, we've always got birds, candles, gemstones, and some sort of prince or princess. They, you know, they feature quite heavily in our books, and obviously flowers as well. So you can, there we go, Jan. There's Jan's first page. She's got a sword. I imagine this would be like a stained glass window kind of thing. You do some really nice stuff with this type of page. I'd like pastels might be good for that. There's been quite a lot of chat about pastels recently. So here we go. There's a ruin, and we've got some, looks like deer here. They're a little spot. Oh, there's 3 babies. 1, 2, 3. And little owls sitting up there as well. So our lady, she looks like a mysterious lady. See, again, I'd like, you know, I've got a thing about doing black backgrounds in Hannah's books. I'm thinking that this is glowy and that would light up her face. And you could have that on a dark background. That would look pretty cool. Some rabbits. I'm not really sure what this is. It looks like banners or flags or something. Maybe that were flapping about in the castle ruins, you know, in the wind. Something like that. Good morning, Michelle. How are you? A scepter. The first time I saw this, I thought it was a key, and then I was like, no, it's a scepter. Okay, good, Jim. We've got a little unicorn here with a sword. Jan says medieval banners. I think we should take Jan's expert opinion on these things. And then we've got this one. I really like. I don't know whether I've talked about this before. I don't think I've talked about it that much. I've got this obsession with old doors. See, when I go on holiday, especially when I go abroad, I love to take pictures of doorways. I've got quite a few now. Okay, so we've satisfied April because there's a dragon. That's good. So I'm kind of drawn to stuff like that. I've got a thing about doors. I don't know why. Oh, there's some sort of Romeo and Juliet type situation going on here. Look, oh, I like this as well. She does like to do things with jewellery quite a lot as well. I kind of like that too. Okay, so this was I wondered if this was like a vial or something. You know, because this looks like the lid. But then I'm like, okay, it's got a sword through it, so maybe not. So this is the first one that really sort of spoke to me, because it's got this window, and the window seems to be intact, but we could make it not intact. But we've got this statue here as well, and some rabbits. But you could do some really careful stonework there, like really work with your pencils. A wee birdie adorned with things, another princessy type one. This one's kind of cool as well. It reminds me of, I can't remember which book it's from, but it reminds me of the nameplate page that we did, and it was like peacocks I did them in. Obviously, and the tails came like all the way down, so that kind of reminds me of that. But you've got this nice intricate background to work with as well. It could be a dagger through the vial rather than a sword, you know, for ceremonial things. I like your thinking, Ulrika. I like your thinking. On the horses. See, this is a really good example of like a double page that I like, because you can treat them as individual pages. You know, that stands on its own as an image, but obviously they've got a bit of mirroring going on there, and you could, you know, use the same colours or opposite colours on each side and have the same sort of technique. Tassels, like some tassels. And this looks like a painting or something, doesn't it, with the frame? This is screaming out for one of Julia's metallic paints to do that with. Definitely, definitely, definitely. And we've got another window here. That looks like a ceremonial dagger to me. I don't know what you guys think. And we've got a little swan as well. Oh, that's quite cute. I didn't see that one before. I'm a swan with my crown. Again, very intricate designs here, but balanced out with something a little bit simpler on this side. I thought this was quite interesting. Obviously, it's a glove. What do they call them? Anyway, yes. Uh, armor gloves, gauntlets. Thank you, gauntlets. So I thought that was quite an interesting subject matter. Yes, thank you, Jan. Because that's not something that you see quite often. And you could have really good fun with that because you could keep all this metal, but you've got this lovely sort of intricate cuff on it here, and you could really, put in some bright colours there, and it's got a wee shiny stone in it. This was another one that really spoke to me as well. Again, more the fact that you could do things with the background, and again, you all know I love a sunrise and a sunset. So can you imagine doing that and then having the shadows on the, that side of the turret? And it would be really nice to do it because this is a curved structure, but it's got some angular parts as well. So you could have quite a lot of fun with that too. We've got a Rapunzel type lady here with her big long braid. I picked this one because obviously these are thistles and I'm Scottish. Yeah. Getting mildly patriotic. I thought this was a bit of an odd one. I think she just wanted a botanical scene, honestly. There's lots of beasties in this one, though. That's a game of Find the Beasties, and there's a substantial number there across that page. I thought this one was quite cool as well with the two dragons. Another princess with her crown. This little unicorn as well here. See, this is very classic Hannah as well, with the bird holding something and all the flora around about her. The candle. Always the candle. And we've got another very intricate insect of some description. A crown on its own. I would be really disappointed if there wasn't a crown on its own. And some birdies holding a ribbon. This one as well, just because it's a rune, like it's fun as well. Again, you can have a pop of colour in here. Got some nice flowers round about as well. We've got this sort of mandala as well. Mandalas really aren't my thing, but it's very cool. Look at these wings. Look at these wings. That is a set of wings. Big headdress with candles. Another wee birdie friend here. Oh, I've missed a page. Again, maybe the stained glass. We've got some little owly friends here. I do like my owls. We're into owls. And then we've got a peacock feather. This lovely lady with flowing hair. I don't fancy having to dry that after you washed it right enough. And we've got this braid here as well. Looks like Sleeping Beauty to me. More candles. I kind of like this one as well. Again, Julia's paints are perfect for stuff like this, making things shiny. And then on the back page here, we've got this lock and key picture as well with our little birdie with its ribbon too. So what do we think to that, guys? Do we like this book? I think it's just a lovely balance, especially with the runes in it, because I'm into the runes. This is probably one of my favourite books of hers. I really like the variety of the designs. So we do need to pick one. If anybody has any thoughts or preferences, I think my preference would probably be one of the ones with a castle in it, because we don't do castles very often. Very Hannah, but somehow a little different. I kind of like this one. Like, I'm quite into this. Please, a castle. Jan wants a castle. Well, I think it's maybe, I would love to do this, but this is a lot. I think maybe this one or this one. Ulrika likes the tower with the birdies as well. Yeah, because we've got some little friends here. Right, I think we'll go for that one then. I do have... Right, let's stretch this out a little bit. Oh. You like the Tower 2 Black Rose? Okay, well let's go for that then. I've got my polychromos, and no I don't, that's a total lie, I'm talking rubbish. I've got my Prismacolor pencils today. I think what I'll do is I'll leave the background until the end. I don't really want to start messing about with backgrounds this morning, I just want to get in colour. So, number one, we need to establish our light source, and it makes sense for me that the light source is coming from this side, so we can have a bright side and a not so bright side. The other really nice thing as well is using the Prismacolors. Goodness me, wrecking the place already. Using the Prismacolors, we've got the lovely advantage of having the French greys, which is like the brownie greys, I think, which will be ideal for castle type stuff. So I think just in the interests of keeping things interesting, there's going to be no angular shadows in terms of the actual turret itself, but I want there to be a point where it starts to change, and I don't want it to be directly in the middle because that's a bit boring. But things to like I take into consideration with stuff like that is the door, so it would be nice if there was a bit of shadow on the door, but the question is, where do you do it? I think maybe about there. So I'm just going to draw a very light line down there. Can I even see that? Not really. This is the other thing as well. See the antibiotics I'm on? They're making me really shaky, like my hands are really unsteady. Weird. I actually can't see where I drew that line. It was about there, wasn't it? Okay, I can see that now. Good. Excellent. Jan loves an old wall to draw. I was looking for, I don't know if any of you remember in the last live stream when I was painting in gouache, that I talked about an exercise I did where I just painted an old wall in gouache and I spent ages on it. I've been looking for it and I don't even know what sketchbook is in. I can't find it. I'm sure I'll come across it eventually. But yeah, okay. So I think having a little think about it. There's no flowers. I'm trying to think about colours. Like, let's plan a little bit. So we've got what looks like ivy here. So I think we really need a pop of colour for our birds and the door. I kind of want like a turquoisey colour. Do you know the best thing is, Jan? I don't even have my glasses on. That's a good. I did bring them. There. Found them. Probably get one a bit better if I put them on. Yeah. So I would like a turquoisey colour for the door. I know that's not traditional castle door colours, but that's kind of maybe not actually. Red door? What do we think about a red door? And I'm thinking like bright blue birds. We've got these sort of stone steps here. Maroon? Yes, okay. Maroon, that might be an idea. Okay. So I think what the best thing to do here is I'm gonna whip out my French greys. Because I'm thinking sunset or sunrise, there might be, you know, a bit of warmth in whatever light's hitting what we're doing. So I think the French greys are a good choice. I'm just sorting out my little Tagal sharpener here, put it onto number 3 because that's what we like to use for our Prismacolors. I would like some variation on these parts here as well. And see, I think that some of this might be quite mossy. You know, it looks as if it's been there for a while. So maybe we need some olive green type colours as well. I'm thinking marine green, that's the first pencil that's popping into my head. I think my marine green's very small. Oh, there's olive green. Right, we'll go with olive green. Yeah, okay. I also have to decide what I want to do with the interior part of these windows. That's quite important. But I think to get us going, I'm going to take the 20% French grey. So that's the second lightest grey. And I'll just put a layer of this down. Let's get zoomed in a wee bit as well. Can you see my pencil line now? It's just there. Barely see that. Yeah, if I get a layer of this down on the front side, so on the light side, then we can work from there. And the aim of the game here really is not to have any sort of solid, smooth colour. Like, we want the opposite of that, because we really want to highlight this texture. The other thing I want as well is my teeny tiny eraser, rubber, whatever you want to call it. Well, you could have a glow from within, deep yellows. Well, I'm thinking if you think about the sunlight, it's probably going to give a yellow hue. So I don't know whether that might be too much yellow, Jan. I like the suggestion though. Yeah, right here, this is what I was looking for. Just my little Tombow mono, and it's just so that I can take away that pencil line as I go, because we don't want it muddying up what we're doing. I mean, I suppose it wouldn't matter too much in this case because we're working with greys, but yeah. Just get this down here. My brain's already gone into overdrive about cast shadows and because I'm right into that. So I think I'll just stick with this this turret part just for now. We can use this as like the guinea piggy test area to see how things are going to go. It doesn't look as if I've done anything. Thea's like, be right back, it's antibiotics time for me. Oh, yeah, I don't have to take mine until I finish, so we get all the antibiotics. I've got 2 weeks of antibiotics to take, 2 weeks. I'm also still waiting, obviously with it being an Easter weekend, everything's kind of slowed right down, so I'm waiting on my appointment coming through for my CT scan, because I've got to go and get one of them to see if the stones are still there, or whether they've passed or whatever. Right, okay, so I think, I don't know whether to go, 50% would be the colour of the stone in normal, you know, even daylight, I think. So if we're going to have, like, even if it's coming slightly from the front and the left, like so from here rather than maybe on the side, I feel like that would maybe start to look a little bit like that. So again, I'm just doing this now so that I can get a bit of a blend going on there. Just so I know roughly where that transition area is. I say because it's curved, it's not going to be particularly dramatic in its change, but that's like a good kind of like point to. Yeah, okay. Right, so now I need to think about shadows. So for my darkest shadow, I would use the 90% French grey, so the darkest pencil. but the 70 is pretty good as well. The thing I like about the 70% is if you keep a really light hand, you can keep it looking quite light. But if you either will smash it down as you can do with the prismas or layer it up, you can get it quite dark as well. This is a very versatile. The 70% in all the greys is really, really good. And I find a lot of the time I can jump between the 50 and the 70 and get exactly what I want, unless I want something really, really light. And definitely the ones that get used more out of all the greys. So I've now got to think about shadow, but also the sort of peaks and troughs of the stone, because we want the texture there first. So I tend to put texture down and then shadow on top. I don't know if that's the right way around or not. That's just the way I do it, but it makes sense to me to do it that way. So in the lightest area, I'm now going to take the 50% and I'm just going to start to put in some texture. And I'm kind of just doing this exactly the same way as I do with paint as well. I just kind of like slap it down. And then I can go back to, what have I done with it? 20%. And just put in, you know, all these little sort of pits and flecks and whatnot. Really cool. So everybody, tell me your plans for the weekend. I would love to know if anybody, obviously with it being Easter weekend, I would imagine that at least some of you may have plans. Would love to hear them. I don't really have much to talk about on that front because I'm not well, so I'm mostly just like recharging my battery this weekend. I have no plans to do anything, so I can live vicariously through you guys instead. Okay, so we're looking fairly good already. Quite happy with this. But you've got the stones of the corbels then with a greenish tinge around them. Yeah, absolutely. Right, we're not getting to shadow. You're getting ahead of yourself, Jan. We're just trying to get stone texture. But yes, absolutely, 100%. Oh, this one's got cracks in it. Look. Oh, how exciting. Who thought using grey pencils and colouring in stones could be so fun? A really easy way to do this as well, if you're not particularly familiar with colouring stones, is just to follow the artist's line work, because that's your, you know, that's your indicator. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like I want to make this a really mossy tower now. See, just because there's stuff growing up the side anyway, that's kind of appealing to me a little bit. That's my little birdies have started outside. I can hear some rattling at the feeder. They're late this morning. They're really late this morning. It looks like it's going to be a really nice day here as well. We're supposed to get torrential rain later on, like tonight. But it's lovely this morning. Kind of want to smooth it out a little bit. Okay, how do we feel about that? Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, yeah. Hands are so wobbly. Ah. April's got zero plans, just going to rest in art. Have family coming next weekend, so need to prepare mentally and physically. Yeah, Black. Where are you going today, Black Rose? Medieval market and festivities. Oh, we're very on the theme then. Meeting our best friend this evening. Yay! Tomorrow is family day. Oh. Jan's hoping for a walk to a local church to sketch them. Lots of stones there. So we're so on theme today. This is great. Birdies know it's a holiday weekend, so having a sleep in. Maybe they just taking it easy this morning as well. It seems to be the way of things, doesn't it? Okay. Right, I'm quite happy with that. So now I'm going to take the 50 and the 70 and basically just rinse and repeat this. How many times have I said basically this morning? My vocabulary is obviously not, obviously I've said that loads as well. My vocabulary is not revved up yet. Right, so sticking with the 50 just now. Yes. I'm going to repeat this probably to about there, I think. That's safe enough. We can work on the transitions a little bit more, a bit further down the line. There's so many things to look at and do with something like this, so just one thing at a time. I feel like the curve, I'm looking at, see the actual curve of this here. I'm trying to use that to decide where, that transition would start. I think it's actually further over than I'm letting it be. Or I think I want it further over than I'm letting it be. That's probably a better phrase. Okay. So this is now the 70. Again, just the same thing. So just texture just now, not worrying about shadow or... When I'm using greys like this, because quite often for shadows I would use Payne's grey or something like that. I think that in this instance we might need to go for like the dark indigo is always a go-to for me. We might need to go for something like that. So you can see, I mean, that transition's fairly solid at the moment. I will do a bit more blending before I move on to shadows and things, but I do want there to be a marked difference. I want it to be quite visible. This is kind of fun though. I'm just like, oh, where's my pencil going to go next? There's lots of machinery buzzing about today. Farming doesn't care that it's the Easter weekend. We also still, fingers crossed, we still don't have any more calves yet. They're not due until next week. But Mr. Jem did say to me, again, I've not been outside, I've just not been well enough. He did say quite a few of the girls are bagging up. So when we say bagging up, it means their udders starting to fill with milk, which is usually a good indicator that they're not too far away. So I've told them just to tell them that they have to keep their legs crossed for another week until I'm better. Please just don't do it. Okay, so you can see the difference between this part and this part now. And for this last section round the back, then we're going to use the 70 and the 90. And then we can start tweaking and looking at shadows and things as well. No plans for Ulrika, keeping things quiet. May pull out a jelly plate later as I fancy doing something that requires no planning. Sometimes those are the best ones though, aren't they? Angela's going to be colouring. What are you colouring, Angela? Great grey work. Yeah, I see a lot of Animal Crossing in my future for the next couple of days. Do you know what it is? I was sitting with my Switch yesterday. Jan, Thea, and I all play Animal Crossing, and we managed to get together. All three of us were in the same place at the same time yesterday, so we did a bit of swapping and trading and one thing and another. Um, but at one point, I tried to sit down and play Cyberpunk, which is what I was playing before I started Resident Evil, and I just did not have the brain capacity for it. It requires quite a lot of quick reflexes, and there's quite a lot of combat and things in the game. And I just like it was so tiring. So I think I'm just mostly going to be pootling about with with Animal Crossing this weekend. Normal gaming schedule will also probably resume next week. But Cyberpunk's a great game. Like I'm really enjoying it. But it's a lot, and there's a lot of menus and upgrading stuff because it's really an RPG at its core. So there's a lot of leveling up experience points, that kind of thing, and then you've got like more side quests than you can shake a stick at, and I don't think my brain and my body are quite ready for that. So I'll just stick with Animal Crossing for a few days. I'm kind of on a mission with my island though. Right, so this is the 70% French grey. I'm on a mission with my island. I have decorated most of it. It's just really my beaches that need some TLC, so I might do a bit of that. And I'm also in the process of kicking out one of my villagers that I've been trying to get rid of for ages. So that's my weekend. Okay. Oh, I love this broken bit at the end here. It's so good. I say again, I'm not being careful at all here. Very haphazard slapdash. It just helps with other texture. Mm. I have to say, I wasn't up for very long before I started. Like I was trying to sort of give myself a bit of a lie in, but see now that I'm up and going, I've got a really sore head. I might need to get. Well, I've got painkillers to take anyway, so I suppose if they take them, that'll help with the headache as well. Brain power is hard to come by when something's not quite right. Well, I think as well, tiredness too. Like, see, when you're excessively tired, you don't process and function the same way that you do if if you're well rested. Um, and even for me, I mean, I function on very little sleep a lot of the time, but even at that, when you're consistently below the threshold of what's a normal amount of sleep for you, and for me, it's been nearly a week now. That takes its toll as well. I feel like my brain's kind of like mashed bananas just now. It's like Mr. Jem has to say everything to me twice. Because he'll say something, I'm like, I'm sorry, pardon. What was that? And he's like, right, so I've got the 90%. And I'm going to work from the right to the left just because that's the way I normally. Oh, there's a really pointy point on that. Look at that. That won't last long because it's a Prismacolor, but still. I felt like I pressed a little bit too hard there. Just go back in with the 70 and kind of smooth that out a bit. I got a bit overexcited there. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. Is Jan still here? Hi, Snoo. How are you? What are you all doing up? It's 8:05 in the morning here, Snoo. It's normally I've been up for nearly 3 hours by now, so we're just having fun. Thanks for popping in, though. Rika's partner asked yesterday if you wanted a cup of tea. It took me 3 goes to figure out what he was saying. Ah, I did. Jan, can you give me a wave if you're still in the chat because I've got something to show you. Yes, of course. Right after the break, I'm going to show you something. It's funny. It'll make you laugh. But yeah, the what I was going to say there was we got gifted um a box. It's a company called Wild and Bloom. So for our UK people, you'll probably know what that is. It's one of these sort of online ordering. You know, you can send flowers to someone. It's like Moonpig, but a bit more upmarket. So my sister-in-law, so that's Mr. Jem's oldest sister, and she's a good bit older. She always sends us something at Easter, and she sent us a Wild and Bloom box, and it's tea for two. She knows that Mr. Jem doesn't really drink, especially at this time of year. He doesn't drink any alcohol. And I'm not drinking as much now either. So she sent us this box. So it's got like tea and cakes and things in it. It's absolutely lovely. But when we were talking about tea, it's like the standing joke just now is, do you want a cup of tea? Now we drink tea like it goes out of fashion anyway, but it's just really funny because we probably don't need more tea in our lives, but we have more tea in our, in our lives. It was lovely of you to pop in. I hope you have a really good day, and I hope that you'll share your adventures with us on the Discord, Black Rose, and you can tell us all about it later. Thanks for popping in, I really appreciate it. YouTube has just told me the stream has started. Oh, Snoo, you've been up with back pain too. Just to fill you in, the reason that I have started later and there's been no videos is I've got kidney stones and a kidney infection, so my back is very sore as well. So I feel ya, my dear. I feel ya. God, see, there's not one of us hanging the right way just now. Right, I'm just going back in with my 70 here. I want this to be like, this is very subtle. I want it to be more obvious than this. I just feel like this, because this side I want to be quite dark. Dark, dark, dark. But see, we'll work on it. I feel texture-wise, though, we're pretty good so far. You share some pictures? Oh yeah, yes please. Jan, yes please do pictures. We like that. Okay. Quite happy with it. I'm enjoying this morning. I'm really enjoying this. Yeah, look at that bad boy. Okay, excellent. So now I want to think about moss. I don't know, I'm kind of swithering on whether or not I want to use this olive colour. Oh, why is it when I'm looking for a scrap of paper in lives, I never have one round about me, but the rest of the time I'm surrounded by scraps of paper? I've got my sketchbook here, that'll do. Find a wee random page just to scribble this out. And oh, here's the gouache planning page, that'll do. Yeah, I suppose that's a good enough colour. Look at the size of my sepia pencil. So cute. The sepia is too brown in this instance though. Marine green was my first thought. Yeah, it's a bit darker. Yeah, I like that better for mossiness. And then for a lighter. Oh, there's an idea. Let's use moss green. God. It's still not that. I want a lighter colour. Zest of lime. That might be. Was that not called lime peel before? Oh, I'm reading it in French. That's why. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's better colour like that. My sister-in-law sent me a beautiful pouch from Bloom and Wild for birthday. Yeah. Oh, did you see it in the Discord? Yeah. Yeah, just I'm not having a good time of it. I'm really not. This is Hannah Carlson's new book. Maybe later on, Snoo, when it's not the middle of the night, you can go back and watch the start of the stream because I actually flicked through it. It's Tales from the Castle Ruins. It's called. But I did have a wee, a quick flick through it so everyone could see. Right, mossy bits. Now I need to not overdo the mossy bits as well here. immediate proximity with the greenery, then that's going to be a thing. So I've got this lime peel colour on for the lightest part here, so I feel like maybe here. Oh, it's getting interesting now. That looks really bright on the camera. Again, back to this, like it's like almost overexposure. There's something wrong with this camera. This is a lot more subtle. It doesn't look that offensive to the naked eye. I promise. Okay, good. And I think now, I mean, this is really just about picking and choosing areas. Like the under here, obviously, that's going to be... But I don't want it to look too symmetrical in that sense. I think this is just a case of sort of adding a bit and then see how we feel about it. So one of the things I'm surrounded by trees everywhere where I live, and one thing I do notice is that depending on how the sun comes round a specific object, in our case it's like sheds and things, if you do have a side that doesn't get a lot of sun, that is just green all the time. And if you clean it off, it becomes green again very, very quickly. So I'm maybe thinking that there might be more moss on this side. Mossier. Yes, there's lots of things. For us, it's our windowsills. We had the windows changed in this house not long after we moved in, so that was like not quite 3 years ago. Can you believe that? Nearly 3 years. And by the first winter, because the window frames they're white, it's UPVC, and the windowsills were all green within like 6 months. And I cleaned them off just before Christmas, and by the time I was taking the Christmas decorations down, they were green again. One of the disadvantages of having so many trees, but I like being in the trees. I mean, overall, it causes its own problems, especially in bad weather. But generally, I like being in the trees. The other problem is mobile phone signal, because you basically don't get one. Trees are quite a formidable presence. Okay, I think I'll stick with that just now. I'm going to move to a slightly darker green, and I'm going to go with this marine green. I tend to find, like, see if colours pop into my head when I'm looking at an image, 9 times out of 10, that's the correct choice. And even though I go back and forth and try out other pencils, I should really just trust my gut and go with what my first instinct was, especially with pencils like Prismacolors that I know really well. You know, I'm very familiar with these pencils. So again, in these darker sides, I just want the moss colour to look a bit darker, so that is what I am doing. Again, I feel like this is one of these situations where aesthetics win over technicalities when it comes to realism. Oh yeah, that looks suitably grubby. Okay, so you can start to sort of see the shift here. I've kind of got a bald patch in the middle here though. So let's stick some there. Maybe it's creeping up there a little bit. Much happier. So this is really helping to get that nice switch, like colour switch. I'm thinking with the sky, I want like a quite a bright coloured sky. I'm maybe thinking like a pale orange reflection. This is so much easier in paint than it is in pencil because you just slap it on in paint, whereas in pencil. So maybe we've got so many nice orangey yellows in the Prismacolor set as well. I am a huge, there's sunburst yellow. That's quite literal. Okay, let's go this. So I'm not going to sharpen this though. So if we assume the sun's hitting here, so I'm trying to think of the protruding parts now. So maybe here. This is kind of tucked in behind, so maybe not there, but certainly across here. So if we bring this over to roughly our pencil line, then that gives us a really good indicator of what's going on. Again, it is possible to take things like this too far and you end up, it just kind of looks a bit like a patchwork quilt. So I always stick with my mantra of less is more. You can always go back in and add more if it doesn't have enough impact. But if you go in, you know, all guns blazing to begin with, you might end up putting yourself in a position that you can't get yourself back out of, and we don't want that. Okay. This is pretty good. I feel like some of these stones here are still quite pale. They should be darker because that one's like almost the same as that one, but it's further round. So I want to go back in there. First of all, go back to my 50 and just get another layer. Pencil down there. Just kind of like even this out a wee bit. That's instantly better. Instantly better. Okay, so now thinking about shadow. I'm thinking a dark blue is probably a good idea when we're thinking about actual colour theory. For our lightest colour, we are using an orange, so it makes sense for our darkest colour to be a blue because they're opposites in the colour wheel. So I think I might go with my dark indigo. I'm not so keen on the indigo blue in this set as I am in the polychromos, because the one in the polychromos is a bit darker and less, it's more grey than blue, if that makes sense. But I think it's probably the best. The other thing I was thinking, this is going to sound ridiculous. See if the peacock blue was like 2 shades darker, that would be what we would be looking for. But I don't want to spend too much time deliberating over this. So I think I'm going to go with the indigo blue. I think that's it. I think that's a good idea. Popped a photo of the Bloom and Wild bag in the Discord. Oh, well, I'll look at it later. Pouting slightly. Right, thinking about shadows now. Literally going stone by stone here. So this part where the sun's hitting, there might not be too much going on. There might be a wee bit of shadow in there. You know, where there's this, because that's sort of protruding slightly. And again, I maybe think here. And then under here. And then as we move across, we can start thinking about these shadows being a bit more dramatic, like this. So down under here. And the further right we head, the deeper the shadows are going to be. I feel like this is really blue. I'm going to go over this pencil with the darkest French grey, the 90%, just to kind of mute it down a little bit. I feel it is really blue. And put a line almost all the way along there. Okay. 90% French grey. Just want to tickle that over the top there, because although it's in that lighter part, it's, you know, it's set a bit further back. So maybe that's too harsh. I'll take my razor over that. And then put a wee bit of the yellow in. I just feel it looks really out of place there. Okay. Right, anyway, back to this 90% French grey. So you can see the difference there. It's really muted it down, but we've got that nice sort of dark, you know, dark variation that we're looking for. I say, unfortunately, that blue, I just feel it's a wee bit too blue. I knew I was taking a risk doing that, but it was a risk I was willing to take. Oh yeah, shadows. Shadows. Now this is the thing, it doesn't matter what you're working with, whether it's stone or something else. See, anything that's really textured, it's a really good exercise in light and shadow. Like, it really, really is. Okay. I'm just going to take this, maybe from about there. I'm going to take this all the way along here. And then when I get to the end here, I'll just bring that right down. Okay, so I've created this quite like a divide there, you know, as that's coming around there, but it's really severe. So just with this 90%, I just want to bring that round a bit there. Omit any white areas. I don't feel that there would be enough to warrant that there. It's just going to make it look kind of like quite odd, and I don't want that either. Again, stopping, I find it much easier to see what's going on by looking at the camera, looking at the screen where the camera drops the image. I'm much happier with that, much happier. What I do feel now though is that I've lost a lot of the texture, so I'm going in really heavy, and again, Prismacolors are great for this, like just really heavy smash in some lines, because I don't want to lose that texture. And I know there's quite a lot going on here. You know, we've got moss, we've got the stone texture, we've got the shadow, we've got the unevenness of the bricks, and we've got where I've decided to put the light source because I like to make things difficult for myself. But much better. Okay, so because I've darkened that down, this part, the kind of middle part looks really light now, so we're just going to repeat that process, but we're going to go down to the 70% rather than the 90%. Oh yeah, I'm obviously quite behind in the chat here. Snoo's saying that she loves Hannah's drawings. Yeah, I'm always a little bit envious of people that have a very distinct art style. I think, see, when I paint in gouache, I've got a very distinct, like, you would know that I'd painted it. See, when it comes to drawing and stuff, not so much. Got a huge old maple tree in the backyard, and that side of the house always gets green and we power wash it. Yep, same Snoo. Who said this would be just a grey set of stones? Yeah, we're doing quite well, aren't we? That doesn't come out until the 8th in the US yet. It was Julia that sent me this now. Obviously, Julia's in Sweden, and Hannah Carlson is indeed Swedish. So yeah, she's very good for stuff like that. I mean, she knows that we get stuff, and she does check the dates, but there's, with her publishing, with Hannah's publishing deal, not Julia's, there's only certain places you can get it. So it's really nice, like, because her and I send packages back and forth to each other fairly regularly. Obviously, I get paint shipments from her as well, so quite often we just send over a few bits and pieces as well. Julia's a great one for gifts, so like, and she's an excellent gift buyer. She's so thoughtful, and it's always really nice. I always enjoy a Julia box. I have things to send over to her as well, but I had to ask her because some of it's foodie things. We swap food things a lot. So I had to ask whether it was something that they would like or not before I send it over, because I don't want to waste precious postage weight sending over something that's that they're not going to like. When I say they, I mean her and her family. I get on really well with all of her family. They're the nicest people, like, they really, really are. They always make me feel so welcome when I go over. So yeah, this is a big thanks to Ms. Julia K for this one. I think I'm quite happy with that. Do you know that? I think I like it. I'm gonna zoom out. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe a wee bit light here, right enough. Excuse me. So I'll grab the 20%. I feel like there's just too much white of the paper there. And I even feel like, oh, gently, carefully. Yeah. Right, I am super happy with that. I'm actually a lot happier with that than I thought I was going to be. But we like buildings. We like buildings. This is fun. Yes. I don't know what it's going to be like when we get to the windows and stuff, but there we go. And that's perfect timing because it is 8:30, so we're halfway through. I am going to have to write down all these pencils so that I've got consistency, because I don't know when I'm going to come back to this, but that is an incredibly, oh, hang on, that was an incredibly enjoyable first hour. For me anyway. I hope it was for you guys too. They sent you Marmite and you fell in love with it. Oh no. Ugh. It's so true, it's so polarising. I do not like Marmite. I'm a person that likes kind of weird tasting things, but I've tried Marmite a couple of times. Like, I've kept going back to it, and I can't get into it at all. I just can't get into it at all. Oh. Right, just a quick question for you then. There's only a dozen of you here. Would you rather I just kept going with this, or do you want me to switch over? I was going to do some sketching and talk to you about sticker sets. I'm happy to do either or. I'm feeling okay at this point. I do need to go and take some painkillers though. So I am happy to carry on because you all seem to be quite enjoying this, and I know a lot of you that are in the chat are colouring people. So just let me know what you would prefer. We can talk about the sticker ideas another time. That's not an issue. But if you would rather see some sketching and that kind of thing, then I'm totally up for that as well. So I don't even need to do a poll. Just let me know. That's fine. Right, I'm gonna go and get myself sorted out. So if you could post in the chat what you prefer, I'll go and get myself sorted out and go and say hello to my dogs, etc. And when we come back, we can either carry on or shift over. Okay, and you're now obviously allowed to talk about food as well. That's allowed. Always allowed. So I'm back. I see you're all you're very on the fence, like you're all Switzerland this morning. We'll just stick with the colouring then, because it means I don't have to move stuff about. I didn't realise we had a second Michelle in. Hello, other Michelle. We got two Michelles this morning. I've also got Susan as well. Good morning, Susan. How are you? Right, so yes, Jan, just to fill you in on a bit of backstory, Jan and I met up in Edinburgh not that long ago, and one of the things she gave me was this. I've got a thing about tins. I also really like yellow, and I like tea as well. So she gave this to me, and it's usually sits on the shelf with the sunflowers that are behind me. They're the Lego sunflowers. So the Bloomin' Wild box that we got, you'll never guess what came in the Bloomin' Wild box. More of the same. I have never ever had this tea before in my life, ever. And now all of a sudden I've got a metric ton of it. But that really tickled me. I was like, oh, Jan's gonna like that one. So lots of yellow and lots of tea. Hello, Pip. How are you? She doesn't know what to do with herself this morning. Do you? No. Jock's just tucked in his little bed. He's snoozing. Tea. I'll wait until after the stream to get another cup of tea, because once I'm done here, I'm going to go and basically sit down for a couple of hours and just chill out. Yes, so anyway, we'll just carry on. I feel like I'm on a bit of a roll, so we might as well use that momentum. I need all the momentum I can get just now. It's fine. I don't know if you really want to look at my face. It's rather pasty this morning. It was really funny. I went down to the post office yesterday morning to ship my shop orders, and I hadn't been down all week for obvious reasons. And the postmistress, Ms. Wilda, who is the Oracle, and she's just a very lovely lady. I went in through the door and she just looked at me. She was like, "You look terrible." It's like, "Thanks, Wilda." And that was like, I thought I looked a bit better yesterday. I was feeling a wee bit better, and she's like, "Oh my god." It's like, "Thanks." But yeah, I said to her, I said, if you'd seen me on Sunday or Monday, you wouldn't be saying that. In fairness, you look better than I thought you would. Thanks, Jan. I do. I've got a bit more colour about me today as well. See, like Tuesday, Wednesday, I was just grey. But I'm definitely not 100%, not by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm really glad that I'm starting to feel better. So the antibiotics are working, and as long as I don't have another episode like I did last Sunday, I think I'm going to be okay. I just need to kind of recharge the batteries a bit now. So yeah. Right, I'm going to put the 10% French grey back in the pencil case because I don't need it, and it's just kind of like cluttering up the desk here, so I don't need the 30% either. Pop that in. So grab the 20. I'm going to avoid the windows for now. I'll zoom back in a wee bit. There. Happens and I got into trouble from the doctor, so I've seen my GP 3 times this week, and she basically lectured me on I should go to the hospital. My reasoning for not going, I feel as if I have to justify myself here. We have a hospital that is about half an hour away from us with an accident and emergency department. It is unfortunately along the Edinburgh bypass, which is just a disaster traffic wise, and there's no rhyme nor reason to it. I have literally gone to this roundabout at stupid o'clock in the morning because I was going to the airport, and it was backed up. Sometimes you sail straight through, sometimes you don't. The hospital in question does not have a good reputation for its accident and emergency department. It is a very, very busy hospital. So our preference is to go further, drive further, to a quieter hospital that's down near the borders. What you lose in travelling time, you will more than make up for in the waiting time, because you'll get seen quicker in accident and emergency. Um, I was writhing about in pain and vomiting, and I knew that if I went to the Edinburgh hospital, I would not be seen within, a couple of hours. It would be 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. And quite frankly, I would rather be like that at home and go to the doctor, because that was Sunday night, and risk it and try and get an appointment on the Monday morning. Because I was being sick, I also didn't want to go in the truck because the road is really, really windy, and we've just recently bought a new truck, and I 100% know I would have thrown up in the truck. So that was kind of my reasoning for it. And the doctor was like, yeah, you should really have gone to accident emergency. And I was like, well, I'm here now, and blah blah. So our parting shot with me on Wednesday, which was the last time I was at the doctor, was, you don't get any certificates for being brave. She's like, if this happens again, you need to go to hospital, especially if you're vomiting repeatedly. It can get quite serious. So I was suitably told off. Um, Honestly, would do this unless it was very, very violent and protracted. I would still opt to stay at home. I'm not sitting in a plastic chair in a waiting area, um, for, like 8, 10, 12 hours. It's just not happening. So that's my justification, and I feel better in myself now. But yeah, doctor was not happy. She's like, "Are you a lunatic?" I'm like, yeah, maybe. There's a possibility. Right, I'm going to sharpen up this, the 50%. Let's go. Thea was angry at me for not going immediately. Yeah, no, but I've already discussed it with Mr. Jim, because he really wanted to take me to the hospital as well, um, which I understand, because I was not in good shape, and it was quite scary initially because I didn't know what was happening. Um, so no, I understand that, but it takes a lot. Like, you've got to remember, we're farmers as well. We will not go unless something is desperate. I see Mr. Jem regularly comes in with like bits hanging off him and all the rest of it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." That's just the way we're programmed and the way that we're built. Um, so once I realised I wasn't having a heart attack or a stroke, I was like, don't really need accident emergency. But I did say at the time, if the vomiting persisted over hours and hours, I would go. Thankfully, it calmed down after a couple of hours. But yeah, that's just the way we are. Doctor's like, yeah, that pain level, and you're just like up and walking about and stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, what else are you going to do? Hello, Elizabeth. How are you? It's up to you coming in. I'm talking about vomiting. Oh, goodness me. 1111, you can sometimes get a GP out of hours. Yeah, I'd thought about that as well, Susan. But I thought my surgery's quite good, and I knew that if I phoned on Monday morning, somebody would sort me out. So, yeah, it was fine. My plan worked. I'll think a wee bit more about. We've got this area here where these leaves are coming over, so I'll think a bit more about shadow again. I'm just going texture here. they would probably rush you ahead because of severeness. But that's the way the system works anyway, Thea. The problem is that the system is under so much pressure. So I would not be taking priority over people with heart problems, head injuries, stroke, that kind of thing. It's not really about, they don't skip you ahead because of severeness. You're already ordered by severeness. That's how accident emergency works. So if you have got like a broken arm, unless the bone is poking out the skin and you're bleeding out, you're at the bottom of the list. Like, you're way at the bottom of the list. And obviously elderly and small children will take priority over someone like me who's normally fit and healthy, kind of thing. And it's just the way of it. Unfortunately, the NHS is under a lot of strain, and I don't want to put any more strain on. And I did say that to the doctor, because she said to me as well, she says, if you still, because one of the things I said to her when I saw her after that episode, generally I didn't feel like at death's door, but I just didn't feel right. Like, I felt off. And she said, if if you still feel like that, make another doctor's appointment and come and see me. And I was like, I don't want to trouble you with that. Clearly we know what it is. You've given me, antibiotics and painkillers and everything. I don't want to waste an appointment that somebody else might need more than me, unless something goes kind of like really wrong. So we kind of had that chat as well, but she was very sort of reassuring. It's like, no, because if kidney problems like that are left untreated, they can become very serious very quickly. So she kind of read me the riot act and that, and I was like, okay, I get it, I'll behave. So consider my wrists slapped. Right, moving over to the 50% now, and we'll just carry on here. Get this down. So I've got, I've made my own sort of reference area here, just from doing that top part, which is exactly why I wanted to do it. We'll get this base layer down on these stones. I'm really enjoying this. I'm weirdly really enjoying this. Or maybe not weirdly. Your GP would probably have beaten you for not going. Don't make me drive for 3 hours to come up and slap you. I fear that might be a waste, Jan. A waste of your time and a waste of fuel. That's funny. I can hear Mr. Jem, and I'm just going to go and shut the door. I'd left it open so that Pip could come in and out. It goes without saying as well, I'm not in my pyjamas this morning. I'm just in my comfy, in my joggers and things. I just need to be as comfortable as possible. Ulrika's friend's kidney stones became very serious very quickly, but it was also about 30 millimeters. Wow. Well, that's it. I don't even know. I might have passed the stones because I haven't had that same incident that I had on Sunday night since, and it's been nearly a week. So there's every possibility that I have actually passed them and just not known about it. But that's why I have to go for this CT scan, because they want to look at both my kidneys and see if there's anything still there, basically. Um, so I've just got to wait for that to come through. It was more the ill feeling that came with it that was bothering me. Because I felt really sort of squeamish and almost like flu symptoms, and that was what's bothering me, because I thought that, obviously if you've got a kidney stone, it's a very physical thing and the pain is from the kidney stone, but the lack of appetite, the upset stomach, the sore head, the sort of shaky like limbs and everything, I was more concerned about that, which is why I've got antibiotics, because they did all the tests. I've had blood sent away as well, but when I took in a urine sample, there was indicators there anyway. So she's like, "Oh, there you go." So all these lovely things. I tell you what, though, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Because again, I'm pretty good with pain, but even I was like, "Oh, this is not good." Pacing up and down the hallway, and I had my fist jammed into where my kidney is because it was my left side, and I was just like pacing up and down the hallway, like deep breathing exercises. was like, oh no, this is definitely not good. Definitely not good. Right, I'll jump up to the 70 now. Again, gonna give it a wee sharpen, just to put some texture in here. So you're better to have, when you're doing these first layers, it's better to have a slightly rounded end on your pencil, not a pointy point. But when you're putting in detail and things, really you want it to be a bit sharper. It doesn't need to be that pointy, but pointy air. She had to have it blasted with ultrasound, yeah. Yeah, yeah, good guess, Elizabeth. Well done. Again, I've said to Snoo, who's also in the States, later on, if you've got time, if you want to go back and watch the start of the stream on the replay, I do actually flick through the whole book so that you can have a look at it. Right, let's get some bits and bobs going here. Again, I'm just kind of looking at Hannah's little texture lines here and using them as a starting point to decide whether I'm gonna stick in a little bit of this French grey or not. And say we'll build this up as we go along as well. The joys of pencils. The one thing I really, really need to do, because I'm in my mind now, because I'm starting to feel a bit better, I'm starting to think about picking up, you know, the videos and things, and I really, really, really need to finish the acrylic painting for the Cave Discoveries video. But the thought of sitting, because it's quite a big painting, well, I mean, normally, you know, I work on A5, I mean, comparatively, and I don't know if I've got that in me yet. Like, oh. So we'll see. I think we'll definitely get a Rita video out in the next few days. That's a bit easier for me. Also in terms of editing as well, they're just, because it's got a kind of natural flow to it, and there's not a lot of stop start like when you're painting, you know, you're cleaning brushes or mixing paint or whatever. So I think that might be the next video. I might even be able to get one of those out during the week, because I know I said next weekend for videos. I'll see how I go though. Obviously I've got to go back to work, to my proper job as well, so there's that. So inconvenient. Um, but that's kind of all floating about in my mind. Okay, dokie. I just want to make sure, as I'm working across here, I want to try and keep things as uniform as possible. And when I say that, I mean in line with what I've done up here, because I don't want it to look really disjointed. You can have sick leave now, you get sick pay. Silly, don't rush back. No, I'm ready to go back to work. It's all good. You've got to remember as well that I'm part-time. I'm not working a 9 to 5, so it's actually quite manageable, and I don't work a Wednesday, so I'll be fine to go back to work on Monday. And the thing is as well though, like I'm so lucky, like I'm so lucky. My boss is the company vet, and I've known her for a long time now. I would go as far as to say that we're friends. And if I go back to work on Monday and I'm not feeling it, or it's just I'm not ready, all I have to do is like just drop her a Teams message and be like, no. So yeah. Tuesday, bank holiday is Monday. Doesn't matter. I work in farming. We don't do stuff like that. So, I mean, a lot of the sort of admin teams, like the office staff and finance and things like that, they don't work. They don't work it. But for the rest of us that actually work with the farmers, we all work. We don't take bank holidays. It's not a thing. It's just not a thing. And I think like IT have only got like skeleton staff, like your basic support sort of something's gone wrong. Because the other thing and the thing is, this is why I'm quite keen. I might not be too strong a phrase. I'm quite keen to go back to work on Monday because I've got a new laptop and I'm gonna have to spend a while sorting out the stuff from my old laptop onto my new laptop. So that's probably going to take up quite a chunk of my day on Monday. So just to put all about with that and get stuff like that done, it'll be fine. Jan's not working, of course you're not. But you don't work in farming, so why would you? Say that unfortunately or fortunately the cows don't give a monkeys that it's a bank holiday. And neither do any of my farmers because they're dairy farmers. It's dairy farmers that I work with. Cows still get milked on bank holidays. And see, generally, this is just a busy time of year for farmers in general. Everybody's either sowing seed or calving or lambing. So yeah, it's just not a big thing for us at all. It's like, yeah, work is work. I was talking to a farmer not that long ago. Again, dairy farming, it's quite a um it's a sector that's getting hit really hard with everything that's happened. Um, and quite a lot of the older farmers are just retiring and their children or their family members don't want to continue dairy farming. And I was talking to a gentleman not that long ago, so he's 68 and his daughter has moved abroad. She's I think I can't remember what she was away to do, but it doesn't matter. But it was like a lawyer or an accountant or something like that. So he had nobody that wanted to carry on the farm, so he's decided to sell the farm and he's buying a motorbike and he wants to tour around Scotland on his motorbike because he's milked cows since he was 13 and he's never taken a holiday for any more than a couple of days his entire life. So I was like, highly recommend. I can tell you all the good places to go. Do it in the summer or else you're going to get really wet. So stuff like that, like it's sad, but it's nice to speak to people. So that I mean that gentleman in particular, he will definitely be out milking his cows tomorrow, like on Monday. Like that's going to be a thing. People can restart their machines without me. Yeah, Jan's entire job is just telling people to turn off their computers and turn them back on again. Ah, the cows don't get to have a jolly down to the seaside on a bank holiday. I just don't think they're that bothered, Ulrika, really. Cows on deck chairs. Oh god. That's one to write. Let me write that one down. Cows on deck chairs. Mildred on a deck chair. Oh, Mildred on a deck chair. Yes. Oh, can you imagine her sitting back in her chair with her little udder poking it? That's funny. I like that one. See, I have to write these things down because I'll have forgotten about that by the time we finish the stream. Oh my. Okay, there's not much for this pretty much looks the same, which we don't want. So I'm just gonna grab the 30%. What have I done with it? Can't find 30%. Not 50%, not 30%. 50. Just work on this middle section a bit more. Okay, I'm a bit happier with that. Okay, let's go for the mossy part again. So again, I'm starting with this lime peel colour. And I just want to sort of pick out some areas. Maybe that's come all the way down there. Look, oh, it's going right down the side of the window. I feel like under here, especially on this back side, like I'll really work that in. I know there's going to be a shadow there as well, but I think I'll work in more green there. Maybe down the side of that window frame as well. Maybe this is algae, maybe there's been water running down there. Maybe do the same here. Again, just to make it like a little bit more interesting. Trying to avoid these flowers a little bit. I said there was no flowers, or that looks like a leaf, but it could be a... No, I think it's a leaf now that I look at it. Okay. Okay, Jem, calm down. Okay, there we go. Quite happy with that as well. Trying to sort of keep the randomness as well, and I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I find it harder to make things random when I'm trying not to make things random. Which, you know. I'm also going to put these other greens away that I decided not to use, which was the moss green and the olive green. I'm just sticking with the marine green and the lime peel. Mildred on a motorbike. We're kind of multitasking here like this. Do we just need a Mildred goes on holiday set of stickers? Mildred on a motorbike. Yes, a Vespa. Mildred on a Vespa. Oh, jeez. Mods are all about Vespas, yep. Mildred with a nice scarf wrapped round her head on a Vespa with a little basket of flowers in the front, and the flowers are all like flapping backwards as she's, you know. And in postcard form. Well, if I was going to do a set of stickers, I can quite easily make them postcards. Because what I would do is I would do the original drawings postcard size and then. Okay, so Mildred on a deck chair. Mildred on a motorbike or on a Vespa. Any other ideas? I mean, pretty much Mildred doing anything's hilarious because she's got a big fat udder. I mean, even in the front of this sketchbook, I know it's like it's a bit more of a serious page, but the only reason that that's not funny is because you can't see her udder. I mean, like, come on. Just saying. Oh, that's what we call them, Michelle. Mildred on tour. Yes. Oh, you guys are the best for this. Is why I love having these conversations with you guys. But that's what we're going to call them. And Michelle, I'm going to credit you with this. Mildred on tour. I don't really want to. Thea suggests, not Thea, sorry, hi Caspia, how are you? Mildred having a pool party. I want to kind of keep away because the first thing that popped into my head when we started talking about that there was Basil and his llama inflatable with his glass. Like, I want to keep away from that because we've done that already. So Mildred building a sand castle. I quite like that one. God, I'm gonna have to like keep writing all these down. Sand castle. Mildred, imagine you with a llama. We always, we always get to put the llamas in there, don't we? Mildred with a llama. What would that look like? I feel like, right, I just want to sketch this out like super, super quick. Just to show you, like, I'm thinking, see if you think like Emperor's New Groove, if anyone's seen the Disney film Emperor's New Groove, like have like Mildred on a llama going up a mountain, but like, you know, at a sideways angle. So you know, llama would be facing this way and Mildred would be sitting on top. And if she had a wee hat on, you know, everything would be dangling down. Does that make sense? Mildred skydiving. Oh my goodness. That's hilarious. Flapping udders in this. Oh, please don't make me laugh because that really, really hurts. Like it hurts so bad. Oh, oh, these are amazing. Right, okay. And you know, see when like the second part of the stream was supposed to be talking about stickers, I had ideas for more like sort of grown up stickers. But if you guys want Mildred, then I'm always fine to draw a bit more Mildred. You know, there's absolutely no harm in that. Right, I'm gonna go back to my orange pencils, or it's technically sunburst yellow. Ah, goodness me. Oh, jeez. Right. I can just imagine Mildred with a pair of the you know, like the old motorcycle goggles that you used to wear, like in her wee face, like because she's just basically going to be goggles and snout if she's skydiving. Oh, that's funny. No, I always appreciate your input, Caspia. Like that, and you know, at the end of the day, when I make sticker sets, it's for you guys. So obviously, taking into account your opinions and your suggestions is nice, and I think it's nice for you as well because if you have made that suggestion and it becomes a sticker, you're like, oh, I helped with that. You know, who needs grown up stuff? I don't think there's going to be much in terms of light here. See, just because these this vine's in the way, I feel like the light would be hitting that more. I'm not convinced that there would be much to see here. So again, it's something I don't really want to overdo. I'll maybe pop a little bit in there. Because again, like on these stones, there probably be more light, you know, hitting off there. So I'm just going to leave that as it is. Again, if I feel it doesn't look right, I can go back in. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so now we're going to do our combo for some shadow and get these bricks looking a little bit more 3D. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing again. I'll use the indigo blue first and then I'll go back over it with the 90% French grey just to kind of like chill it out a little bit. So the first thing is, excuse me, oh, I never did my dark green first. That's because I get sidetracked with Mildred stuff, you guys. Right, scrap that. Back to the marine green and just work on these darker mossy areas. Get them looking suitably grubby. I do really well if I put my glasses back on, and the problem is I don't know what I've done with them. Oh no, found them. Specs back on. Mildred in a tent or a caravan. Oh. A holiday tour bus as well. God. Mildred camping. A bus. This postcard idea really has no limit, so Mildred could go anywhere. I think again I would like to avoid geographically specific places. I think that could be another set in itself. So Mildred goes to the Eiffel Tower, Mildred goes to Machu Picchu. You know, I think that would maybe work quite well. We could maybe do that for next summer. Um, but yeah, like Mildred going on adventures, or you know, I'm quite up for that. It's so good. Who would have thunk all that time ago when I did little polymer clay Mildred that so much would come of it? I have to say I'm starting to get really uncomfortable now. My back's like, ooh, I've only got 20 minutes left though. Jan Mildred on a canal boat. Yes, yes, yes. I've also taken painkillers as well, so they should start to kick in at some point. Let's make sure you can see what's going on here. Oh, green. Maybe that's all the way along there. My stomach's also starting to rumble as well, which is a good sign because I have not had much of an appetite these last few days. I've been trying to make sure that I do eat though, and I've got an app that I track all my food on anyway. I am, believe it or not, still trying to lose a bit more weight. It's not been going so well between broken elbows and one thing and another. But anyway, I'm actually using it this week to make sure that I'm eating enough because if I don't eat enough, I tend to feel really crappy. So I'm trying to avoid that. And it's been quite handy actually. It did lead me to have half a chocolate brownie last night. Not the most nutritious, but I'd eaten a lot of salad and stuff during the day because when I do want to eat, it's just like light things that I don't want anything like stodgy or heavy. And I really hadn't eaten enough yesterday, so I split a chocolate brownie with Mr. Jem, and that took me right up to where I needed to be very quickly. You could have a Mildred's Grand Tour going to Italy. If I need to stop, then stop. Well, yeah, save a later, but it's now closer to 15 minutes, so I'll keep going. I'm just wondering if I'm happy with my greenery, and I think I am. So let's go to shadows now. Now we're doing shadow. I want a really pointy point for this though. I mean, I've kind of got a pointy point, but it's just not pointy enough. That's better. We all know that it is very important to have a pointy point. I want this to stand out a bit more so that we can see, you know, the different protrusions of the tower. Protrusions, my goodness, big word for a Saturday morning. So precision is fairly helpful here. And as we come towards that light source, obviously it will still be there, but it will be less pronounced. So I have to say that Prismacolor pencils are not the best for this just because they're very soft. But you know, it's one of those things, you get used to a set of pencils and you figure it out eventually. And I've got my French grey now. Again, just to make it less blue looking and more grey looking. But it's given me the depth that I want that pencil combination, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay, that looks fairly good. Fairly happy with that. Now, I kind of want, see this brick here, I hate to bring this to gutter level, but that looks like a lady with camel toe. I want this brick to look like it's sticking out, you know, like as if it's maybe moved a little bit. So I want to give that a shadow all the way around, and it's just to make things a bit more interesting. If it's a ruin, you would imagine that things aren't stable. I know you all aren't going to be able to unsee that now, by the way. I did it intentionally. We'll just give that a sort of bit of a thicker line there, so it looks as if it's coming out like that. And we're gonna have some shadow down here. Again, that might not be a particularly long cast shadow because we've decided that the light isn't coming from here, it's maybe coming from like here. So there's still going to be a little bit of a shadow there. And again, we'll maybe do the same along that corner. And be a bit more dramatic with our shadows here. Make those bricks a lot darker. By making these shadows odd shapes as well, what we're doing is we're changing or we're showing the actual like topography of each individual stone. So it's good to have a bit of variation. Don't just like draw a line. I'm trying to think of an example of one that I've done. I've done it on there. I suppose this one's quite a good. It's not just a straight line. So there's a darker bit here, but then there's a lighter part. So that lighter part suggests that the shape of that stone is beveled slightly. Just doing things like that and kind of mixing it up. That's what stops it looking really flat when you're doing stuff like this. And it's so easy when you're working with something that's old or worn because you can make it as wonky as you want and it still looks right. We've got a very wonky stone here. This one's wonky, so again, I feel like that's maybe slightly out of place there. It's not really supposed to be doing that. So let's do that. Bring that shadow down a wee bit there. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's moved. I feel like the overlap in these two is this one's the one in front, so there's no shadow, in that section there. But again, I kind of want to break that section up a wee bit. But it isn't also in that transition area, so that might probably make it look right. A lifetime of stickers for gem and video ideas. Do you know what? I really struggle. One of the features on YouTube, see, as a creator, one of the features on YouTube now is you can use AI to generate video ideas for you. Now, what it does is it takes the content that you've put out and it also looks for trending videos and also trending videos in your niche. So for us, that would be art, and it spits out basically all these video prompts and shows you the popularity of certain categories. I don't understand, like, see if you're really into what you do, especially on YouTube, I don't understand how anybody would ever need that as a creator and as a creative person. I've got more video ideas than I could ever execute, and I've been on YouTube for 8 years and I've put out over 700 videos. I am never going to run out of video ideas, but I don't know whether it's because I'm a creative person, but I don't see, unless people are going for clout, which I know a lot of the bigger YouTubers are, maybe they would use it more because rather than doing something that they want to do, they'll do something that they know is going to be popular. But again, if you're in that sort of space with YouTube, you'll know what's popular and trending because you'll be watching everybody else's videos and all that kind of thing. I find it really, really interesting. I just don't fall into that demographic of YouTube creators. You guys know I always do what I like to do. I don't care whether it's trendy or not. And I tend not to go with the trends because I think a lot of it is rooted in consumerism. I just like to do my own thing. I'm getting on my soapbox about that. I feel quite strongly about that though. Um, but it's one of those things. It is quite interesting though. Like some of them are really fun. Do you want me to read you some of them? I'm pretty sure I can get into this while I'm doing this. I can just open a fresh window. Let me give you an example, right? Um, it's called. Oh, that there's something else I wanted to talk to you all about as well. Um, I can't find the bit that you go into now. Kids content. No, they've moved the tab as well. Oh God. Ah. Monetization policies. No, I can't find it now. God damn it. Anyway, it is in there. If I come across it, I'll let you know. But yeah, some of the suggestions are really, really funny. The other thing, I've had this huge wave of scammy emails. The first time I got one, I was a little bit concerned. I got contacted from a Gmail email address. But it was basically meant as a company, so exactly the same as I do, saying that there was a copyright issue with one of my videos, and that they wanted to kind of sort it out. So the first thing I did was went on to YouTube, because if we have any copyright discrepancies, you basically put in a request through YouTube itself. And then as a creator, you can look up any content detection and it shows you where it is, the exact place in the video. So nothing had appeared. And I emailed this person back and I said, well, look, this copyright strike that you've put in isn't showing up in YouTube, but sometimes it takes time. It can take like 24, 48 hours. And I said, in the meantime, if you want me to fix this, you're going to have to be more specific, because I've got over 700 videos on my channel. You can't just tell me that there's a video. So if you want to point it out to me, I can look into it, before the copyright strike appears on YouTube, if you want it done quickly. But you're going to have to tell me what it is. And it was like 2 days later that they emailed me back and basically ignored what I'd said and just did the same thing again. And that was when I was like, yeah, this is weird, because still nothing had appeared on YouTube. So I looked it up, and it's a really common scam, and they try and extort money out you by saying that you've breached their copyright. Because, in my head I was like, oh, that, because it's happened before and it was just purely an accident, and it was a live stream. And I was having problems getting the live stream set up, and I didn't put in the credentials in the description. So I maybe thought, and I said, it might just be an oversight, and it definitely wasn't done intentionally. So it turns out this is a thing. And see, since I've had that first one, I've reported it and blocked the email address. I've had 6 since that first one, which was maybe like 2 weeks ago. I'm just getting them all the time. And it absolutely boils my blood. It's like people just trying to extort you in any way possible. It's really, really, it annoys me so much. Like, it really does. But I'm just glad I had the sense to, to step back and think about it. And basically the moral of the story is, if anybody gives you any hassle about anything on YouTube, go through YouTube. It's like buying something off eBay. Don't do anything privately. Do it all through the channel where the source is, basically. But yeah, that really, like, I rubbed me up the wrong way. It rubbed me up the wrong way substantially. Ideas for you. I don't want a super chat goal. Dismiss. Where the devil have they moved this to? I don't want to chat with creator support either. It used to be right here. I wonder what they've done with it. Creator resources and tools. Oh, it might be in there. Media kit. What's a media kit? They want me to download a media kit. I'm gonna have to spend some time going over that. Yeah, that's a shame, because I was really wanting to show you some of the prompts, because they're quite funny. Like, really weird crossovers that just actually wouldn't work in real life. Ulrika treats almost everything with suspicion, and quite rightly so. Like, I'm 100% behind you on that one. 100%. It was just so unusual, like, because normally you always get, like, especially as a content creator, get a lot of scammy emails, and it's people wanting you to. The other one that I get all the time as well, which is appalling, is blatant straight out contact saying, do you want to buy Instagram followers, because we can make it happen. Just like, oh God. But yeah, and that one caught me off guard because it looked like a handwritten email. It looked like a person had written it and it had come from a very specific address, and it was like a person's full name at gmail.com. Um, so yeah, like, and I was like, oh, and the last thing I want to do is, especially when it comes to music, because obviously musicians are artists as well, we don't want anyone stealing our work, so I don't want to be stealing anyone else's work or not giving credit where it's due. So I was like, oh God, like, and I thought, this person's, oh, like, this is not good, like, I don't like this at all. And it turns out they were just trying to extort money out of me. So, but I say I've had so many of them now, and that's been like in such a short space of time. So I'm just reporting them all and then blocking the email addresses. I'm like, oh, how low can you stoop though? I had one of those as well, Thea. When I was in Malta, so not when I was on holiday the November there, it was the November before. And we were like midway through our holiday, and I got a transaction through for hotels.com, and for like, it was something weird like £73 and 82 pence, and it was obviously some sort of booking, and it turned out that somebody had tried to use my details. Thankfully it was blatantly obvious, because naturally I was away, and I was already on holiday, so I wouldn't be booking anything while I was on holiday, kind of thing. I would have waited till I got home. And it was the bank that sorted it out for me. But you're just like, and it used to be like, oh, people aren't savvy. You've got to be tech savvy and you've got to watch for these things. They're so sophisticated and they're done in so many different ways now. And a lot of the time, it's AI that's producing whatever it is to scam you. It's just not as easy as it used to be to spot these things. And I like to think that I'm quite good at spotting that kind of thing. For my proper job, we get the GDPR stuff drummed into us because we have customers' details. We have like health statuses for their herd and things. We've got to be very careful because we are basically a bank of information. Um, and I would like to think that I'm quite good at stuff like that. And even sometimes I get caught out as well. I don't even answer the phone now. Like, I honestly, my dad got caught out as well. Have you heard of the Hey Mum or the Hey Dad scheme, where you get a text message and it's your kids asking to borrow money? I don't know if any of you have heard of that. There's been quite a few people that I know of in the UK that have had it, and my dad nearly fell for it. But I said to him straight away, I said, Dad, number one, when have I ever asked you for that kind of money? And secondly, when would I, even if I did need that money, why would I text you about it? I would phone you. So we managed to catch it though, because they send a text saying, hey mum or hey dad, I've lost my phone, so this is like a temporary number. I need money to sort my phone out or something like that. And then they want you to give them money. Isn't it, Jan? It's ridiculous. But my dad was like, he's like, I just thought that you might have been texting me from another phone and blah blah blah. Oh, Susan gets a lot of them, do you? Oh, it's horrific. Like it's those kind of things that remind me why I don't like people. Like, zero faith in humanity with stuff like that. Really, it's pretty sad. But again, I would say like, Papa Gem's pretty good with stuff like that as well. I don't know why that one caught him off guard. But again, for his age, because Papa Gem's 68, he is very tech savvy for a 68-year-old. He uses iPads and he can write basic code, and he uses internet banking and all this kind of stuff. And it's not like he's not technically literate, but it's just getting easier and easier for these people to extract money. But yeah, that one for me, that caught me off guard, and I was like, oh, I need to not become complacent, keep my skills brushed up. Thea's got a wine scam in the German speaking region. Do you drink wine? No, yes, but do you drink wine? 68 not tech savvy. Jan, there are many, many, many people your age that are not tech savvy. You are in the minority with Papa Gem. Isn't that really cool, everyone, that Jan and Papa Gem are like the same age? I love that. I told you about the lady that I used to work for. She was one of the first women in IT, period. She retired a couple of years ago now, and she was amazing. And that, like, I kind of get her vibes from you, Jan. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Thea. Definitely a minority. I mean, even if I compare, like, see my in-laws, so Mr. Jem's parents, wow, like they're really not. They're trying though. That's the thing, especially my mother-in-law. Like she can use an iPad now, and she FaceTimes her kids, um, and we've kind of all collectively like dragged them into that. But see things like internet banking, buying things online, it's like no. And my father-in-law, we can barely get him to use a mobile phone, and it's taken a long time. And he's roughly the same age. If well, he's older. He's the same age as my mum. So early 70s. Um, so yeah, and he's definitely not the minority. Uh, so I've been very lucky because both my parents, and I've told you about my gran before as well. She got an iPad at 90. Our family were are quite willing to embrace stuff like that. Well, the elders anyway. But I don't think that that's the norm. Half the people my age aren't all that tech savvy, know how to use phones, but have no idea how things work. Okay. Thea's mum's turning 63 tomorrow. Oh, happy birthday, Mama Thea. She worked with computers, but she's so incredibly clumsy, and it's not because she can't deal with tech stuff. She acts like she can, and yeah. Weaponized incompetence at its finest. Well, I mean, to be fair, see Mr. Jem, he'll quite often phone me and ask me how to do things, especially if it's on the PC. He's not uh he doesn't spend a lot of time doing admin work, but a part of his job is, keeping the paperwork and stuff for the farm going. So if he's using something like Excel, that kind of thing, quite often I'll get a phone call and he's like, how do you do this again? Because he hasn't done anything like that since, he was at school. But I tend to find with certain apps, because Mr. Jem and I have a very different taste for apps. Like Mr. Jem uses Facebook a lot because there's a lot of farming forums and stuff on there. I tend to stay away from Facebook. I don't like Facebook. But if I need to know how to do something in Facebook, Mr. Jem's the person to ask. Whereas, if it's something else in another app, I'm like, you do this, you do this. So I don't think that counts as much. But he's definitely less tech savvy than me. Although I wouldn't say that he's not technically illiterate, if that makes sense. He's like somewhere in the middle. And I think that's probably the same for most people. When you've got the added burden of using equipment, like when I started my filming setup, that was a really steep learning curve for me. So I think from that aspect, there's quite a lot of stuff I do know about that maybe I wouldn't have done otherwise. Especially when it comes to editing software and just the general foibles of trying to get technology to work. Like I do a lot of troubleshooting, with internet connections and why is my camera not working even though it's connected to my laptop. Like I do a lot of that kind of stuff as well. So I would say that probably boosts things quite a lot for me as well in terms of how competent I am with especially like unfamiliar software and hardware. Whereas, you've got to remember, Mr. Jem's out covered in poo a lot of the time. Okay. I had someone in a store once said, I can't be expected to do this at my age, and replied with, well, I'm 3 years older, so get on with it. Yeah. I think there is this fear though, that if you might do something that you can't undo. So I can kind of understand that, but I feel like older people, especially, and when I say older people, um, I don't want to insult anyone in the chat here, but like people over 60, um, if anyone's going to have that excuse, it will be that sort of age group. But we've kind of got a joke at work that the millennials are like, we're the ones that fix everything because the younger generation don't, like, they're just used to pretty apps. They never had to use a DOS prompt or defrag their disk drive. So we have to help the young ones, and we have the older ones who just refuse, and we've got to help them as well. So we're basically like the problem solvers, because we grew up in that era when this technology became a thing, and obviously we've adopted it properly, as we've gotten older, and we're the first generation to have both sides of that, in the childhood and the adult life as well. It's quite interesting. Try teaching your 88-year-old mum. I got her the same phone as me so I can look at my phone and tell her what to do. Yeah, well, Snoo, that's when we got my gran her iPad. She got her iPad at 90. It was we had the conversation on her 90th birthday, and we explained to her about internet and things. But that's what we used to do. So I would have my phone and my iPad, and I would put my iPad down on the table, and then I would FaceTime my gran on my phone so that she could see what I was doing, so that she could do it too. But again, she was really good with stuff like that. Like for a woman in her 90s, she was very, very sharp. She had absolutely had all her marbles. Um, but she did quite well with that. It was more, she was scared she would break something, and then once she realised that she couldn't break it, she was like, "Oh, what does this do?" And she's like pressing things and stuff. So I totally, totally get that. The younger ones that you deal with, see, honestly, see the younger ones that I've worked with, see if it's not in like the first three Google results or the AI overview, they're like, I don't know what to do, I can't do this, and I'm like, oh lordy. Favorite, Jan's favorite was a user who said she didn't have cut and paste. Oh, she's got the polar opposites, mum and dad. That's funny. Well, that's it. Like it's the willingness to try. I think is a big part of it as well. See, the first time, like, oh my god, the first time that I went out shopping with mum after we'd moved here, so like 3 years ago, and she wanted to just sort of, like, we were trying to find out the lay of the land and find out where things were. So anyway, we went into this shop and mum had this little basket of stuff, and she's like tootling around, and she got to the checkout, and she's like, just put your stuff in with mine, because I'd picked up a few bits and bobs for the house because we were unpacking and whatnot. And I said, no, no, I said, it's fine. I said, I'll keep it separate just now. Um, don't worry about it. So anyway, off she goes and she puts everything through. And when she'd finished, she whips out her phone and she gets her Apple Pay out and casually scans her Apple Pay, and off she. And I just looked at her and I was like, when did you start using Apple Pay? And she's like, I've been using it for ages. And it's just one of those things, like, she tried it once, and when she realised it worked, she was like, this is so easy, like, it's so simple. And her favourite thing was, I don't have to fart about with my handbag, meaning she didn't have to dig through to find her purse to get a card out. So, I think you're either kind of open to these things or you're not. And say, my mum particularly, because mum would have been, well, yeah, 70 at that point. So, I think it just depends on the person. But yeah, it's very difficult. See, if you're trying to explain things to people, especially older people that aren't tech savvy, like I do not have the patience for it. Like it sends me into a blind rage. And like with Mr. Jem's parents, I have to let him deal with that because I just don't have the patience for it. I would be a terrible IT person. Like, no, not for me. Right, let's get this section finished off. So I've got my 90 here, and I'm just going back in and getting this balance out. So I want this whole section here to match up with this part at the top. So I'm going to be darkening this down with the 90 and the 70. Just making sure that I'm not losing the texture. The first time I used my watch to pay for a meal completely blew me, my friend. Well, I've got Garmin Pay on my watch as well, and I had to test it out. Because I was thinking about, for longer runs, if I wanted to stop and get a bottle of water or something, that would be ideal for that. So had to test it out in like a safe situation first, where I had my phone and my wallet with me. I mean, but I don't carry a wallet at all now. I don't carry cash either. Oh, some of you do have cash. I'm just not on no. Hello, Karen Marinas. How are you? And we're just finishing up, my dear. Thank you for popping in, but we're kind of on the last leg here. I'm just tidying up my tower here. So you may have to go back for some replay. We're just talking about technical incompetence of older people. What a subject. I'm getting lots of messages. I can hear my phone buzzing. It might be Papa Jem this morning. I feel like I need to stop talking and get a move on. These ones are just not dark enough down here. I feel like I've been too light-handed on this right-hand side here. I am going to have to stop though, my back's getting really sore. I don't want to push this too much. I'm just going to stop here, guys. It's 1:45 anyway. Jan's got a fiver with her just in case. Yeah, I keep a £20 note in the truck just in case I go somewhere and I need cash or anything, but I don't carry cash apart from that. And for smaller businesses, you use cash. Do you know that's something somebody asked me about that as well? Papa Jem's self-employed as well. He's got his own business. We don't actually like being paid in cash anymore because we've got to take it to the bank and put it in the bank. Just saying. I know there's a service charge on cards and things like that, but having to physically go to a bank to pay in cash is a pain in the ass because physical banks are few and far between now. So just bear that in mind. When you are using small businesses, cash might not be. Obviously, if you're in like a market situation, something like that, I can understand why that might be helpful. But generally speaking, like cash is not a good idea. It's also as well because I was talking to my dad about this the other day because he's had to sort bank accounts out and things for his business because mum's name was on them, and he doesn't like getting paid in cash because it's difficult for him to track the transactions. Basically, he actually prefers to be paid by bank transfer or card or whatever. Of course, you're in a really populated area, to be fair, Ulrika. But generally, as a small business, and see this business of checks, I had to tell Papa Jem to stop accepting checks. I was like, people do not use checks anymore, and the bank charge you to pay that check in when you've got a business account. And I'm like, just stop taking them. Like, there's so many ways you can pay for stuff. Very interesting. The other thing is that it's the act of going to the bank as well, because it's taking time out your day that you could be using elsewhere. Time is precious. Time is money. Thea, what's with all like? See, I don't know what you're posting, Thea, but it's just coming up as like symbols for me. Is it supposed to be like yeah, like is it supposed to be emojis? Oh no, that's doing it with Ulrika as well. Oh, okay. Oh, that's funny. Right, guys, thanks very much for joining me today. Thanks for all the Mildred sticker ideas. That's hilarious. I'm really tired now though. I only want to go sit down and have a cup of tea. Um, I hope you've enjoyed this. I've had so much fun and I'm looking forward to working on this a bit more. As and when I'm going to do that, I don't know. There will be a live stream on Wednesday, so if any of you are off to bed, I think I'll plop myself on the couch this morning, Thea, with my Switch. And if any of you are around on Wednesday afternoon, the Wednesday live stream will be going ahead as normal. So hopefully I'll see some of you there. But as I said at the beginning, I am planning to actually work on my whips because there's more than I thought, and it's about time that I actually finish something I started. Because generally I'm not that person. You guys know I like to see things through to the end. It's just got a bit wayward this last while. So I hope you enjoy your weekend. Yeah, thanks for the chats. We've had really good chats today. I've enjoyed this. And enjoy your Easter weekend if you celebrate Easter. And I will see you all back in the cave on Wednesday, or maybe in a video a bit later on. Enjoy yourselves, everyone. We'll see you again soon.